They don't tell you this. The part where a looter's mind starts moving long before their hands ever touch a door. People imagine looters as chaotic, impulsive, wild, but the truth is far more unsettling. Most of them are predictable. They operate on patterns, instincts, and a kind of street logic that feels alien if you've never had to fight for resources. Once you understand how they think, what seems random suddenly becomes painfully clear. It begins the moment a looter realizes one thing: nobody's coming to stop them. Systems collapse. Power, policing, communication, social trust, and the absence of consequences becomes the biggest motivator. Humans don't magically turn violent. They simply stop calculating punishment. In a blackout, the darkness doesn't just swallow the streets, it swallows accountability. And when that happens, an old part of the brain wakes up, whispering, "Take what you can before someone else does." Most people think fear drives them, but it's really scarcity and entitlement. Looters don't always steal because they're desperate. They steal because the window feels temporary. Their brain runs short-horizon thinking. Decisions only a few hours into the future. No long-term consequences, no guilt. Trying to reason with them is almost useless because you're appealing to the rational mind while they've switched to survival animal mode. Contrary to the cinematic image of looters smashing windows in a frenzy, most scout their targets carefully. They observe for hours, learning who comes and goes, who looks confident, who looks scared. They read a neighborhood like a hunter reads a forest. If your home appears passive or neglected, you've lost half the battle. If it looks fortified but messy, it signals fear, not strength. The most dangerous appearance to a looter is calm and organized. It suggests awareness and preparedness they can't predict. Uncertainty terrifies them. They can handle a fight, often even seek adrenaline, but unpredictability slows them. Cognitive science shows that incomplete information inflates perceived risk. If they can't calculate what's happening inside, they assume the worst. Simple signs of awareness: lights shifting, noise at unexpected times, subtle movement create cognitive friction that slows decision-making. In a crisis, hesitation equals power. Looters also follow mental patterns. They target what they think they understand. Anything predictable is fair game. Anything unpredictable becomes a threat. They rely on routine: same lights, same window open, same trash schedule. Break routine, and you break their mental map. You don't need confrontation. You just need to confuse them. Crowds are a shield. Mob looters diffuse responsibility. Nobody feels individually guilty. Lone looters, however, are more calculated, patient, testing doors and reactions quietly. Buddy pairs combine caution and impulsivity. One watches, one probes. But all of them, individually or in groups, share a vulnerability. Confidence is often fake. Underneath the bravado is stress, fear, and heightened cortisol. Calmness is kryptonite, and subtle signals, shadows moving, faint noises, controlled lighting, can push even the boldest to retreat. Noise is another tool misunderstood. Alarms and sirens attract attention. The most effective deterrents are subtle. A floorboard shift, a faint clink, a controlled cough. These whisper presence, hinting that someone is awake, aware, and unpredictable. Their brains can't handle the unknown. When they can't calculate risk, they retreat. Not because they're weak, but because uncertainty is instinctively dangerous. Looters don't just read doors for locks. They read doors for psychology. Reinforced but clean doors signal calm control. Chaotic boards signal panic. Panic invites them. Calmness unnerves them. And timing matters. Looters operate on short horizons. Defenders think in days. Routines, backups, and layers of subtle preparedness increase cognitive load on the intruder, slow their operations, and force errors. Even tiny, unpredictable movements, shadows, slight noises can create hesitation long enough to prevent intrusion. Territorial instinct also plays a role. Looters avoid spaces that feel claimed. Signals of ownership, sound, posture, activity trigger primal boundaries in their minds. They don't need to see you, they just need to feel you. And that feeling is more powerful than weapons or barricades. Then there's desperation. Early looters may be opportunistic, but as time passes, desperation grows. Hunger, fear, exhaustion, anxiety, they lower judgment and increase risk-taking. By day 3 or 4, behaviors change. Impulsive, reckless looters make mistakes. Noisy entries, poor judgment, leaving traces. This is why long-term preparedness matters. Survival isn't only about night one. It's about enduring the changing psychological landscape of threats. Observation is key. Looters read energy, not just material possessions. A house that appears cared for projects awareness. The house that is silent but erratic signals vulnerability. A home that is boring, calm, and organized sends a message. Someone here is alert. And alert people are dangerous. You don't need confrontation. You need control of perception. If the looter doubts the ease of their task, their confidence falters. Psychologically, looters tell themselves stories to justify crossing lines they wouldn't normally cross. Everyone's taking it. Nobody will miss this. It's abandoned. But once doubt creeps in, through noise, movement, light shifts, the story collapses. Humans instinctively avoid uncertainty. When a looter can't predict, can't calculate, and can't see a clear path, he leaves. Even bold ones are paralyzed by ambiguity. And that's the essence of survival psychology. It's never purely physical. Your best weapons are subtle, continuous, and invisible. Timing, unpredictability, controlled presence, and creating doubt. A looter's success depends on a story in his mind that everything will be easy. Break that story, and you don't fight him. You make him irrelevant. You don't need to overpower danger. You need to make danger lose interest. Because once you understand the mind of a looter, once you learn how to manipulate perception, create uncertainty, and project calm alertness, you realize something essential. Survival isn't about confrontation. It's about psychology. Presence, preparation, and subtle signals do more than force ever could. And in a world where systems fail, desperation rises, and chaos becomes the norm. Mastering this invisible battlefield can be the difference between being prey and being ignored.